Good morning, I am Jason Ellis, and this is TechAvail News. Today is Friday, March 19th. Happy Friday. There's a lot to unpack, so let's just get in so you know what's going on for your workday today. This is in early developments, and deadline is the first one to properly announce it, but California State Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez has introduced a new piece of legislation, which she's calling the Free Artists from Industry Regulations Bill. To break this down, and it's actually pretty important to our industry, so you should listen. The bill is going to target and impact exclusive option rights and the 7-year deal. The 7-year rule. Just to start with the 7-year rule, it's a rule that's going to allow performers to get out of contracts at 7 years without any repercussions. Of course, the music industry specifically will have issues with this because of unproduced music that's made during that time, what is impacted, but that is why the Music Artist Coalition is backing that. But really for Hollywood, the big important factor of this bill is it is targeting exclusive options for series regulars. And what that means is essentially when a series regular wraps up a season, they are put on what we call a hold. So this is a hold option period where the studio has a certain amount of time to come back to the reps and the actor to go, hey, we're picking up season 2, we're picking up your option, let's get back to work. The problem is some of these holds have now exploded up to 24 months, which typically could be okay, but the biggest problem is majority of series have gone from the typical 22 episode order and have now decreased across board about 40% to 10 to 13 episode orders. So this is essentially taking the same deal a 22 episode series regular would get, which someone working that would probably work 8 months of the year. So having an option deal makes sense because you got to see how it's going, all that stuff. And then there's not that much more time to work in the year besides maybe going to do a movie. But when a series regular is working only 10 to 13 episodes, that's about 4 months of work. So when a studio now has the power of maybe potentially up to 2 years to essentially tell this actor they cannot work on another project without consulting them, that's for TV, not for film, is pretty crazy. So that's usually happens when a streamer versus streamer or a broadcast versus broadcaster won't let them work on other similar platforms. So this new bill is targeting these long holds to really bring them down. And SAG-AFTRA, of course, is backing this, and it makes sense. You want your actors to be able to have a little bit more flexibility, especially if you're only using them for 10 episodes. So we'll see how this comes out. It's very early days, but still something to pay attention to. In a massive deal, the NFL has locked in TV rights with Disney, Fox, NBC Universal, Viacom CBS, and Amazon. This is a 10-year TV pact starting in 2023 that's going to bring in $100 billion to the NFL. The previous deal they made was only for $27 billion, so this is a big shift. And from this, two important things have come out of the deal. ABC will now be put into the Super Bowl airing rotation, which they have not been previously. So they will be getting the 2026 and 2030 Super Bowl games. And plus, ESPN Plus will now be getting one international game every season to air on their platform. The number 2 big announcement is Amazon will now have the exclusive rights for Thursday Night Football. Previously, this has been shared with Fox and Amazon, but this is a very smart move by the NFL, who is trying to find how to bring the streaming audience and the traditional TV viewing audience together. And obviously, the Nickelodeon games that aired last year did very well for them and actually surprised them how many younger viewers tuned in because of Nickelodeon. So using Amazon as a way to hit that streaming audience for an exclusive Thursday night is very smart and a way for them to start to get younger viewers to engage in the NFL. And obviously this deal itself being $100 billion has proven the power of the NFL. I mean, I remember, I think when Concussion came out, NFL is literally the only corporation who owns a day of the week. It's pretty insane. So seeing this deal come through for the next 10 years starting in 23 is a big play for the NFL and for the networks. In some non-deal making news, some really positive news, Missy Birns-Halperin has been brought on to be the head of TV development and casting for Discovery Plus. Previously, Missy was at Nat Geo and Fox Broadcasting, so bringing in new blood into Discovery Plus is a great thing, especially since Discovery Plus, for the past few months, has been getting really solid recognition, and I think trying to make more of an impact and become a bigger streaming service to compete with everyone else. So cool to see Missy come in and, Discovery Plus starting to refigure their structure. Game of Thrones will never go away. It was a big cultural impact for 8 years. Obviously a big project, but now HBO has announced that they have now put in 3 more potential projects into the Game of Thrones universe into development. We all know, when Game of Thrones wrapped, they had a lot of other projects in development. Out of that, only House of Dragons has emerged and is in current production. The others got scrapped. So we'll see what comes of these. But the 3 that they have announced is, number 1, it's called 9 Voyages. It is going to be from Rome creator Bruno Heller, and it's concentrating on Lord Corlys Velaryon, aka the Sea Snake from the House of Velaryon. The character is going to be in the House of Dragons project, so this is probably setting up a potential spin-off from that series, so that's pretty cool. Number 2 is 10,000 Ships, who's going to be focusing on Princess Nymeria and House of Martell, so we'll see what happens with that one. And then the 3rd one, they didn't name it yet, but it's going to be focusing on the slums of King's Landing called Flea Bottom. Probably like an Oliver Twist / Peaky Blinders kind of vibe is my guess. So we'll see what happens. But once again, HBO is trying to capitalize on the Game of Thrones universe, which is great. And we'll see what comes of them in the future. I feel like every time a new social media property comes out, there's always going to be a rival launched by one of the big guys. So YouTube has just announced that they have put forward in their beta testing what they're calling YouTube Shorts. This is literally to try to get people away from TikTok onto YouTube. Obviously, TikTok is very music driven, so YouTube Shorts is also going to be very music driven. They've already locked in deals with the major players, Universal, Sony, Warner's. We'll see what happens. I always think it's a little bit tough when you're coming in second after TikTok has already been extremely well established. Not sure what will happen. YouTube itself is obviously still a big platform. Here I am doing it right now, but YouTube Shorts is a different style to their service. So let's see how it goes. But to take players from TikTok, it's a stretch in my opinion. Before we get into the attachment news, I just want to very quickly bring up, because it's felt almost quietly done, but Endeavor has once again filed with the SEC to try and make an IPO. So the first filing happened back in 2019. They pulled out of going public, and actually luckily, because of when the pandemic hit and they did IPO, they probably would have lost a lot of money and really hurt their business. But once again, Endeavor is now going, hey, we're back, let's go file the SEC. In my personal opinion, I think this is a what the fuck moment. Realistically, if I was an agent at WME, if I was a client at William Morris, obviously they keep on saying, don't worry, it's not going to affect the agency. Of course it's going to affect the agency. It happens when places go public, things will change. So now clients have the potential of being swayed to do certain projects to help, make these stockholders happy. So it's a little interesting kind of seeing artistry get very clearly trumped by business. This is still early days. The filing just happened. Who knows if it will go through, but I think it's something to really watch out, especially if you are working with William Morris and Endeavor. It may change their bottom line of how they're operating. We'll see. Okay, in attachment news, Natalie Erica James is going to be brought on to direct Apartment 7A for Paramount Players, Sunday Night Productions, and Platinum Dune. Natalie really came to the forefront during Sundance a couple years ago with her thriller Relic. I saw it. I thought it was okay, but I actually could see her extreme talent behind it. I just thought the story was fine, but she's brought on onto Apartment 7A, which the plot details have not been brought out, but it is a psychological thriller, so it's a good directing opportunity for Natalie to bring her expertise to a big studio movie. I love Psych. I'm a big fan of this announcement. So Dule Hill is being brought on to play the father role in the Wonder Years reboot for ABC. Dule Hill falls under one of those categories of do no wrongs. He is consistently funny, consistently smart. Also, he got his big break in West Wing, but Psych to me is where he really got to show his smart comedy chops. So hopefully he's going to bring that style to the Wonder Years. So I love this casting, and especially, with a potentially really cool project coming out of it. For the CW, Ava DuVernay's DC superhero drama Naomi has found their leading lady in Casey Walfall. This project is based on the 2019 graphic novel Naomi, and it centers on a high school student after a supernatural earthquake will discover she has her own powers hidden within and will slowly start discovering the world is not exactly what it is. Joining Casey on the cast is Alexander Wraith, Cranston Johnson, and a newer face in Camila Moreno. So cool casting. We'll see how this project is. I have not read the script, so we'll see how the CW continues to churn out these superhero projects. And some fun news, a UK poll has chosen that Arnold Schwarzenegger would be the best public figure to guide the Earth in a wake of an alien invasion. And of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger tweeted saying that he, of course, is ready to come serve. In second place in the poll was Will Smith, of course, because of Independence Day, but very funny news. And then in Mighty Ducks news, the Disney Plus series will be coming out next week, and they have announced that in one episode at least, 6 of the OG players will be coming back to the series. I think Mighty Ducks is going to do a lot of great business for Disney Plus. It's retro. It's something that us millennials love. We would want to share with our kids and families. This is a title that I think actually could do very well to bring new subscribers to Disney Plus. So cool news to say the least on both fronts. I know that was a lot to unpack, but I appreciate you sticking through. Today is Friday, so make sure you have a great weekend. Please remember to like and subscribe. Once again, I am Jason Ellis, and I appreciate you tuning in, and have a wonderful weekend.